Minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of H-Con Res. 119, expressing the sense of Congress that a carbon tax would be detrimental to American families and businesses and is not in the best interests of the United States. Mr. Speaker, my colleague and friend from Massachusetts just said that we need to be addressing real concerns. Well, I would respectfully submit, Mr. Speaker, that the loss of paychecks of tens of thousands of Kentuckians over the last decade as a result of a war on fossil energy is a major concern. Maybe not in Massachusetts, but men and women who have lost paychecks, whose lives have been devastated by overregulation, that's a real concern, Mr. Speaker. And Congress, fortunately, in cooperation with this administration, is now leading our country back, not just towards energy independence, but energy dominance and strong economic growth, and finally jobs as a priority, and energy security by rolling back onerous regulations that have harmed livelihoods and threatened our grid resiliency. Implementing a carbon tax would not only harm these efforts, but it would result in massive job losses, lead to higher prices for American families and businesses, and jeopardize our energy security. My home state of Kentucky relies heavily on fossil fuels, as our coal resources provide our state thousands of jobs and deliver 83% of our electricity. This allows Kentuckians to enjoy some of the lowest average electricity rates in the nation. And so a carbon tax, Mr. Speaker, would be an attack on the poor. It would be an attack on people who cannot afford high electricity bills. The implementation of a carbon tax would be detrimental not only to Kentucky's economy, but to the progress of our nation and the progress we're making towards energy resiliency and freedom. Instead of increasing government mandates and regulations on industries and picking winners and losers, we should look for new and innovative ways to promote air quality and address environmental concerns. And the best way to do that is not through central planning from Washington. It's to unleash free enterprise to encourage innovation and to harness the carbon cycle. Mr. Speaker, I'm not a climate denier. I'm not a science denier. I'm a client thinker. I'm a science thinker, and real science is not about just assessing costs only. It's about looking at benefits as well. And those supporting a carbon tax look only at costs, but not benefits of coal and other fossil energy. And coal provides cheap, plentiful, reliable energy over the long term. We should not want the most carbon-free energy. We should want the best energy. We should want the most reliable energy. We should want the most effective energy. Energy that best facilitates human life, human flourishing, and human progress. And that's what fossil energy is. Government mandates, central planning like a carbon tax adds costs to private sector innovation, resulting in poor air quality and more, not less, global pollution. The goal, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, should not be green energy. The goal should be the advancement of the human condition. And again, I support H-Con Resolution 119, and I thank Representative Scalise, our whip, for his efforts on this important issue. And on behalf of the citizens of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, I yield back.
Gentleman from Washington reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I tried to get the gentleman from Kentucky to yield, but I guess he didn't want to get into a